Yeah.
Chicken here, bring you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're going to be going over Rifle Cryo Zuka Medic post-hero update strategy, how it's changed, some of the best hero abilities to use with Rifle Zuka Cryo Medic, and just kind of where I'm at with it now and how I've been using it. I think this is probably the second best to all Zukas in terms of benefiting from the hero updates. So I like to use RZM with Everspark with the Critter Swarm. I think that's probably the best. I like to use it with Battlers. I like Iron Will, and I actually like the Cluster Grenade a lot for RZM, and I'll get into that in a second. So first up, since we probably already know for the most part the other ones, let's go ahead and load up the Cluster Grenade and just take on a couple NPC bases and just go about how the chicken uses this. So you might think that the Cluster Grenade, it's going to be less value that you would get out of an artillery, and that does kind of make sense, but the Cluster Grenade, when I like to use it specifically, is when I'm reflaring all my troops. It's nice to have that little bit of quick extra damage, and I'll try to show you guys right here, because it's going to be easier to visually see it. So basically, what I would do with the Cluster Grenade, say I want to go over to the right, I'll throw out the Cluster Grenade like that, and you see it's going to take out that, oh, I missed the flare, but it's going to take out that machine gun. You see I'll do it again right there, and it just makes for, it just makes the pathing a little bit easier. It's just, you see right there, it does a bunch of splash damage too. I think it actually took out all those mines, so if nothing else, it's a fantastic mine clear. It seems somewhat inaccurate, though. I will say that. Like, sometimes it looks like it lands right on top of the mines and doesn't do anything, but I don't know. That's something I need to play around with a little bit more to see what the exact kind of range is required to take out the mines. So that's basically how I like to use the Cluster Grenade with RZM. Obviously, I lost a lot of troops there, but I was just trying to show you guys like some reflaring. Basically, whenever I move them is when I want to use the Cluster Grenade. And say there's like a flamethrower or a machine gun or something that I hadn't taken out yet that I thought was going down. It can help with that. It can help with just keeping some of the splash damage off your riflemen, and that does make a very big difference at the end of the battle. Okay, so we got this is probably what you guys are using the most with RZM. Rifle Cryo Zuka Medic and the Critter Swarm is probably the best option, because it's just extra critters as cannon fodder. It's gonna be the same as using the Critter Swarm with the armored units. It's gonna be the same type of benefit. It's just a little bit more riflemen. You're gonna survive a little bit longer, and it's completely for free. So I think that the Critter Swarm is probably the most kind of underlooked ability. Like, all everyone ever talks about is Battlers, but I mean, the Critter Swarm is fantastic, and it makes a huge difference on the raid. Because you see right here, my troops haven't got touched yet, because I'm able to throw out so many critters. And if you have the extra GBE like I do right now, then it's gonna be like a double benefit, because you get the critters for free, so you're gonna be able to manage your GBE better. And you're also, if you're able to take down the rocket launchers before the raid, and you can kind of keep all the splash damage stuff off your critters, then they're just gonna run right through the whole base, and they're gonna be able to do so much mine clearing. Like, you see, I barely had to take out any mines manually on my own, because the critters were just running amok through the base and just completely destroying everything. And I'm just throwing shocks out here now to just to kind of help with the boom cannons. And you see right here, I actually screwed up. I used my normal critters more than my Everspark critters, so that's something you got to stay on top of too. Just making sure that you're not using your critters more than Everspark's critters. You got to make sure they're equally balanced by the end of the raid, so you get as many out there as possible. And keep in mind, I have no troop health right now at the time of this, so let's actually go ahead. Let's go ahead, guys, and what do we want to do here? So we'll go ahead and we'll try one more with we'll go with the Battlers. Now, the Battlers can be tricky with Rifle Zuka Medic, And that's just because you like the extra damage is great, but it's not always what you want is because it causes the riflemen to run out in front, and you really don't want that. You want them to stay kind of bunched up in front of the Zookas. And say if you're like not ready to go into a certain area because there's a lot of mines or something, especially with no troop health like I have right now, the mines are going to do some really good damage to the riflemen. So it's just you just have to be careful with it. I don't like using it off the start. I'll go ahead and show you guys why right here, because it gets them. I guess it's okay off the start if you have a really front-loaded base like this, but it just gets them kind of too bunched up, and they become too vulnerable in the middle of the base. So it's just a tricky kind of thing. You see how much more difficult, you see the difficulty I'm having with this raid compared to the last one. So the hero ability does make a massive difference. Again, not having troop health with RZM does make the combination a lot harder than it needs to be. So we'll go ahead, we'll throw the battle orders up now, and this is typically the situation where you would want to use battle orders with Rifle Zuka Medic, when kind of like it would honestly be worth saving until you get into the point where it's like you're fighting a couple sniper towers, you're on the HQ, and you just really need that extra damage and that extra speed just to get up, get as many shots off as possible, and take the base down. So that's kind of when you want to use battle orders. So maybe battle orders is better if you have more troop health statues and you're facing higher health buildings, and you really need that extra damage, and you're not worried about saving your troop casualties and stuff like that. So that's probably gonna wrap it up for the Rifle Crowd Zuka Medic strategy, guys. Make sure to let me know down in the comments any tips and tricks that you guys have for using RZM, any variant of RZM, Rifle Crowd Zuka Medic, just straight RZM with 4 bullets of rifleman. Like, what ability do you find goes the best with RZM now after the hero update? Make sure to let me know that down in the comments, guys. That's going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. Chicken out. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you visit patreon.com/thechicken for $1 a month, you can get your name in the chicken banner for the duration of the month. And for $2 a month, you become a super chicken, and you can get your name in the banner. Plus, you get to write your own personal message.